This is Yvonne Sims. In this episode of Strong and Courageous, I'll be featuring Toni Gadsden, an authentic woman. Now hear from Toni what it really takes to be authentic.
My name is Toni Gadsden, and one adjective that I would use to describe myself is authentic. What is it about me that makes me authentic? I believe is one, that I'm a woman of integrity. I am a woman that just loves unconditionally. I choose to love unconditionally. There are times in life when people and things just don't go quite the way you would like them to go. But at the end of the day, I believe there is a choice to love unconditionally. Now, there is a fine line between loving unconditionally and being played the fool. But learning what it is to love somebody for who they are is something that I am passionate about. Be yourself. Now, the trick to that is identifying who yourself is. You have to take the time to get to know who you are. There was a time when I was in college, and every night I would kind of recap my day, and I'd look at, okay, I said this. Now, why did I say that? Okay, now, why did I feel that way when I said that? And it got to a point where I would just begin to identify, okay, this was something that I did out of spite. That's not who I am. So moving forward, let's check that. So eventually I got to a place where I could, if you were to ask me the question, who is Toni? Or who is Toni to you? I could start to give you a description of who Toni is. So it starts with identifying who you are. And once you've taken the time to identify who you are, then being yourself is a good place to be. Now, are there going to be things in you that you don't like? Of course. There are plenty of things in me that I don't like, but that's an area of growth. The day that I meet perfection is the day I meet death. I'll never be perfect. Therefore, I will always continue to grow. I will always identify an area in me that can use perfection. And I'm wise enough to know that even though I identify it, it's not something that I'm always going to be able to improve by myself. I'm going to need my team, my homegirls and my partners. I'm going to need them to help me perfect that thing out of me. I mean, I'm the queen of building walls. So if I don't have friends in my life that help me understand what vulnerability is, I'll always have walls. So you have to, the bottom line is be yourself, but you got to figure out who self is first. When I say being authentic, I am specific in saying identify who you are as a person first. I'm not referring to that person that is curt in every statement that they make, and they make it a point to be rude, to have attitude, to have no tact when they approach people. That's not authentic. That is still hiding behind a mask, and oftentimes it's a mask of insecurity. Sometimes you do have to put a person in their place, and it doesn't equate to belittling them. It doesn't equate to shaming them. Sometimes it's just helping them identify where they are. And when you're able to help someone identify where they are, it's usually a reflection of you've identified where you are. So if you find yourself constantly negative, constantly tearing others down to build yourself up, chances are you haven't found self yet. Learn to listen with your heart. As you encounter people, you never know where they are in their story. And it is so imperative that you're able to learn to listen with your heart. Some people say read between the lines, but I call it listen with your heart. Because when you're able to listen with your heart, you're able to meet that person where that need is.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Strong and Courageous. I'm your host, Yvonne Sims. To hear more stories of strength and courage, visit my website at YvonneSims.com or my Facebook page at Yvonne Sims. Until next time, beloved, be strong and courageous.